Welcome to In Pursuit of Magic, where we explore the things that inspire us, how we connect with others, and the magic that we find along the way. I'm Matthew Medina, and today's very special guest is a singer, actor, dancer, performer, and all-around ray of sunshine, Barrera. Mayelah, thank you so much for being here. It really is an honor. You're an incredible talent, and to have you on to talk about your inspirations is a gift.
Thank you, Matt. I'm so excited. This is my first podcast ever. So,
Oh, that's
very
awesome.
excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. It's an honor to have you. I've seen you perform a bunch of times, so I know that it's something you're passionate about. You're really in love with what you do. And I was just wondering, like, what inspired you to start performing and get into it, and how did you like get that start?
Yeah, I don't really, I guess, I mean, this goes way back, right? I am the youngest of four girls, and they're kind of older than me. So, when I was born, I was the baby, and I had like four moms taking care of me, and all of my sisters had found sort of things that they liked, whether it was sports or showing like the first bits of interest in music and singing and acting. And I guess that's where it kind of came from. Um, really, I guess I just really like the spotlight. I was just the I'm the youngest, like, out of all my family and cousins, I was the baby, so everyone just treated me I was everyone's favorite and just the baby, and I loved being the center of attention, and if they asked me to sing, I was like, "I don't want to," and then they'll be like, "Just one song, Maya, just one song," and I was like, "Okay," and then 2 hours of me performing, um, I just really loved that, and then my first job or my first real introduction to acting and being on stage really was because of my sisters. There was an ad on the newspaper that they were casting for The Sound of Music in Spanish, La Novicia Rebelde, in my hometown in Monterrey, Mexico, and the Von Trapps, I mean, I'm out of me and my 3 sisters, there's a role for each one of us. So my mom was like, "Great, the oldest wants to go. I'm taking all of them and we'll see what happens." And my mom took us to that audition and then I ended up booking, and my mom tells this really funny story. She loves to say it whenever she can. They gave me my script, and I was reading it upside down, and the director comes to my mom, and he's like, "She can't read?" And my mom's like, "She's 5 years old. No, she can't." Um, but that really didn't affect me at all. But that's how it kinda started, so I guess through my sisters, really.
I mean, that's amazing though, because you showed an interest already, and I feel like you were in the right environment with your sisters and your mom to really nurture that and support that and give you that
Yeah,
room to grow and that freedom to. Because even in the moments where you said you were like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to," and they were like, "No, no, no, come on," and that could really make or break someone, when they really want to nurture that gift that they have. And it seems like along the way you kept that flourishing.
yeah,
So,
I
and
mean,
how did that end up developing more?
well, I continued doing things through my childhood. Um, that musical led to other, like regional, I guess, productions, back home. And then it was after The Sound of Music that I got into singing lessons. So that's really when I started training and like getting ready. My first love has always been singing. As like then it just so happens that when you're in musicals, you get to do all 3, and I love to act and I love to dance as well, but really, like, my childhood dream, like, if you asked me what is Mayela's dream as a little girl, I would always say that I wanted to be a pop star, and I wanted to tour the world and fill up arenas, and that's always been a dream in the back of my mind. Um, and then it's kind of grown into other things, and yeah, I just get to do 3 disciplines that I really love in one, and it's been amazing, and so I continued doing productions back home, up until I was 10, I believe, 9 or 10, when I did the biggest production, which was Annie, which was incredible. And then and then I kind of stopped for, like, 10 years. I didn't do another musical until I was in New York, had graduated, and I did not think that I would be doing musicals, in the city, but that's kind of been what I've been doing, and I love it, and I love that I found that love for it again and that confidence in myself to be able to do it, and I've grown so much. And it's just it's meant to be, really.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's all helping me be a better artist and be more well-rounded in everything, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now, and I know that I'm confident that that's why I'm doing this.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think it shows when you perform.
Thank
I
you.
have to ask after that break and then coming to New York and starting up again, what kind of roadblocks did you face or things that made you feel discouraged maybe and wonder if this was the right path for you? I mean, it's beautiful that now you feel like this is your calling and you're finding your place and still finding your footing and how much more you can grow. But
Yeah.
I know that along the way there's those other little moments.
Yeah, every day. This is such a hard career. Um, Not easy at all. You really have to love it because there are no's, multiple no's every single day. So, it's really about perseverance and patience, and I am not a patient girl. I think that's yeah, that's my Achilles heel, is that how you say it? Yeah, not patient at all. So and also, I that gap where I didn't perform on stage really, like, um, I was very insecure, and I was very afraid of being on stage. So, um, I'm gonna go back to, like, when I was about to graduate high school and I was thinking about what to do, and everyone in school is like, "Where did you apply to college?" And people applying to Ivy Leagues, and, um, everyone's like, "What's your essay about?" And I I put a lot of pressure on myself. And I also felt a lot of pressure because even though I wasn't doing school plays or anything, I was always the singer in my grade, and everyone knew that I was a singer, and I felt like everyone had really high hopes for me, and everyone in my family, and I had really high hopes for myself, and I don't wanna let anyone down, and I don't wanna let myself down, and I think what that makes me do is not even try, which which is bad. It's kind of like it got to be like a paralyzing thing for me, so that I don't let anyone down, then I'm not even gonna apply or I'm not even gonna try, and I'm not gonna tell anyone what I'm doing because what if I apply and I don't get in and then everyone's like, "Well, we thought" you know? Though, like, I was so overwhelmed in senior year, I was so overwhelmed that I had applied, because at that point, I was like, "Singing is what I wanna do." So, I want to go to Berkeley and study vocal production. Acting was, like, not in my mind at all, and I missed my Berkeley audition on purpose. Like, I actually just didn't wanna do it.
Wow.
It was so bad, and, um, so I don't think I ended up applying to any schools in before graduating, And then I was talking to my mom and I was like, I mean, my mom is just the best. Like, she has really done everything for me and my sisters, everything and more. She is super mom. And she gave me the opportunity to take time to figure out what I really wanted to do. I didn't want to go into something pressured, and I wasn't in the right headspace to I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know. And I felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders and I was very scared. So I took some time and then I like a year later, I got an opportunity to be part of a short film that was shooting back home. And I'd never done anything like that. I guess, yes, I had, but when I was like 7, so it doesn't really count.
Very different.
This was
Yeah.
me this was me doing it again when I'm more of an adult, and it reminded me of my love for acting and being on set and being in front of a camera, and I was like, "I think this is what I wanna do." Like, I was starting to gain some of that confidence that I had lost, and I came up with this plan, and I was like, "I wanna study acting." I've I never, say goodbye to my voice lessons, like, I was still taking voice lessons up until then. I wasn't dancing anymore that much, but I was like, "I've never trained in acting, and I wanna be a good actor." Like, I think this is what I should do, and then I'll complement with what I'm already doing, and this will make me good in all 3 disciplines, and then if I wanna act for theater, I can do that. If I wanna act for films, then I can do that if I have the basics and the fundamentals of acting. And then a week and a half later, COVID hit. So we were stuck
Man.
back home.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were stuck back home for months, and then I was like I always dreamed of living in New York. I knew that that's where I wanted to go to school for. And I was like, "Do I move to New York right now?" It was still very uncertain. I was like, "Should I move?" But classes were hybrid or from home. Teachers weren't going to school. There was like a little robot with their faces on it. So I ended up signing up, like enrolling in school, but did my first full year from Mexico online, which was insane. I always
I
got
can
paired. There
imagine.
was me and 4 or 3, 4 or 3 other girls also, zooming in from different parts of the world, like Turkey, London, Miami, Peru, and Mexico. And we were all doing a scene together with the lagging of Zoom, like difficulties with everything, people taking the class at 2 a.m. in the morning, then sometimes because of the schedule, I was taking class at 6 a.m., which is not that bad, but also
A lot.
early.
Yeah.
Um, so it was definitely very interesting. Um, it was a very interesting time. It was a very interesting time, and then I moved to New York, and everything just went by so fast, and then as an international student, once you graduate, then there's something called the OPT, which is what like the government gives you after you've studied here to kind of test the waters and work for the first time. And there's so much that you're thinking of in that year. You can't just focus on working because there's so much in the back of your mind of like, okay, you got 12 months, but then you got to figure it out.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's so much stress in that year as well. Um, but I was really fortunate and lucky, I guess, um, to find really great people that gave me my first opportunities in the city and that made that year a lot easier for me, um, and eventually helped me stay in this country to continue working for my dream, you know? But it's tough. There's a lot of really high highs and really low lows. There's only like you'll feel that high for 2 months and then there's a really low 2 months as well. Um, but it's just part of it. Like everyone starts off this way, I believe, unless you were in the right moment at the right time and someone saw you. You're one of those like one hit wonders or however you say it. But it's all part of the process and I think it'll make when I get to where I want to be a lot sweeter cuz there it hasn't always been easy, you know?
Yeah, I mean, apart from the logistical roadblocks like COVID and virtual learning, then you were dealing with your own feelings of fear of going after this dream and not getting to the place you want it to be. And that's on top
Mhm.
of then kind of the fire under you of like having a
Mhm.
year and knowing like you have to start doing things and getting involved. And it reminds me of this line from a Disney movie called Tomorrowland, with George Clooney and a few other people. But there's a flashback where the protagonist is a kid and is at the planetarium and is talking about going out there into outer space and seeing what's out there. And her dad basically asks, "Well, what if there's nothing out there?" And she says, "Well, what if there's everything out there?" And that has stayed with me a lot because I think that perfectly described what you were dealing with. There was all these possibilities, and there was a fear that there was nothing at the end of that road, and yet
Yeah.
there could be so much. And it seems like a saving grace that I hear a lot from people is community. And that's what you seem to build up when you were in school and here in the city, which leads me to your involvement with Jaime Lozano and La Familia. So how did you get
Mhm.
involved with them?
It's so funny and actually Jaime was texting me this morning a screenshot of our first interaction through WhatsApp, the first ever text that I sent him. I've known about Jaime pretty much not my entire life, but since I was really young. The first studio where I would get voice lessons, he was every summer he would come and give like an intensive 1 week workshop. Like they'd bring him from either Mexico City or New York when he was living in New York already. So I'd always hear of these workshops that you could sign up for that were extra. I think I was signed up to take it once and then because of whatever I didn't. And he was also, I think he and my sister knew each other quite well. Um in their times because Jaime's from my same hometown, which is
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
We're both from Monterrey. I think they sang together once at like a benefit gala or something. I might be wrong, but I think so. And then in New York, they were here at the same time and they would go see In the Heights together and other shows. So it's pretty funny that then him and I are like, I mean, he's family to me, really. Him and his family are my family here. But I think we followed each other on Instagram. And then I was living in New York and I had been living here for like what, 6 months, 7 months, something like that. And then I started to see that he was having, I think, one of his first American playbook writer series or
Right. Yeah.
at Lincoln Center, and I was seeing that, but then I saw that it was sold out, and then he replied to one of my stories, and he was like, "Do you live in New York?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, I have a concert." And I was like, "Yeah, I saw, but it's sold out." And then he was like, "Send me your email. I'll send you a ticket or something, like a comp, so that I could go, and I was like, "Oh my god, thank you." And that's actually our first, back and forth on WhatsApp. It's like, "Here's my email, thank you and I just got the ticket, thank you so much, I can't wait." And then I go to the concert by myself, and it was amazing, and then I was like, "Well, I have to say hello, like, I came I can't just leave." I ended up waiting for them for, like, an hour because that was such a big concert, and so many people were there that were, like, important, and so I was just waiting at the door outside for an hour until they came out. He's like, "I can't believe you waited." I'm like, "I know." But so I met him there in person, met his wife, Florencia, and then we started talking, and I was about to graduate. I think I was graduating in, like, a month and a half or 2 months. He's like, "So what are you doing? Um, are you already applying to the OPT? What are you doing? Like, tell me more about yourself." And then that's how I found out about Jaime's show El Otro Oz, and he got me on audition for that, and then that was the first role that I booked, in New York before graduating, and then that's the beginning of this, like, partnership and, um, the beginning of the relationship that him and I have built, and yeah, it's like we've just grown a lot, and he's yeah, he's really been amazing and such an important person for my journey in this country and everything. And I'm such a familiar like I'm very family driven. So family is really important and when you're away from home, it's hard. New York City is a tough city to live. It could be like really fun, but it also can be really lonely. And I've found my family here, which makes it so much more easy. And it's great that I get to work with them also. So it's best of both worlds, really.
Definitely. I mean, it's a beautiful thing to see even on stage when you guys perform together. And, I spoke to Jaime so much about how important community is, and that can
Mhm.
really shape your entire experience in your journey. I mean, a lot of people could stop and feel like giving up without that
Mhm.
that piece of home and family.
Yeah.
And to see that grow and build into something, and I always think when different people come together like that, something new gets created that's even better than it would have been separate, and that's such a beautiful thing.
Mhm.
There's a lot of magic in that,
Yeah.
and I guess that also leads me to ask you, what other kind of magic do you find in your life and on your journey in different areas where you get a lot of inspiration day to day or feel connected to your art form and the things you're passionate about?
Wait, say that question again.
Yeah, basically, where do you find that kind of magic that you feel with your community, and Jaime, but in other areas of your life and that keep you inspired and keep you going when things get tough?
Um, I think just friends and family and seeing people that are my family here doing cool things and just getting inspired by what I see that's happening. Yeah, there's so many people that are trying to do it out there, and so when someone is doing good, that's inspiring to see. And yeah, I've just found really great people through every single project that I've made, and they inspire me every day. And it's nice to know that people that are good are doing good. And you have to when it's time for them to cheer on me, they can cheer on me, and when they're shining, I'll cheer on them, and it's nice to find people that you can do that with because it's a tough industry, but really my friends and just the people that surround me, and even though I'm away from my family is a huge source of inspiration. But yeah,
Yeah, I think
I don't know
that's
if I answered that.
no, you did completely. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. I mean, you mentioned seeing good people do good things and how you cheer them on when they're doing something, um, which was basically answering my next question, which is how do you create magic for other people or at least hope to?
Mhm.
And I think it is very symbiotic where you guys get to express this passion with each other but then support each other and there's a back and
Yeah.
forth. And then of course on stage, I mean, you never know when
Who
you're
is
on stage,
watching?
right, and who you're inspiring, who sees you doing your
Exactly.
thing and is like, "Wow," like, either I wanna do that or that makes me wanna be brave enough to do something like that.
Yeah. No, definitely. I've had really cool experiences where people come up or I see little girls' faces in the audience. Um, and that is so cool and like everything that I would want, because I was once a little girl and it's so someone did that for me. So if I can be that for someone else, that's like, what the heck? Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy in the
Yeah.
best way, but there's so much need and for art and for little girls and little boys to see just like um a more, I don't know, just like representation on stage, and that is the best part of this, really. Is if they liked it and if they felt something because of what I did on that stage, then I did a good job. Then I can go home and sleep knowing that somehow I've I've impacted their life or their night just a little bit.
Yeah, I can say that's definitely true. I think you do have a such a positive presence on stage, and you affect a lot of people, and this summer, you had a big reach. You went with the Public Theater with their mobile unit to perform Much Ado About Nothing. So talk a little bit
Mhm.
about that experience and how it felt.
Well, you came to a good one. You were there at St. John the Divine, and that was one of my favorite performances. I mean, they were all my favorite, but St. John the Divine was such a good crowd. And just everything, being surrounded by nature and the cathedral, and it was just very magical, very magical. And my family was there that day too, so it was so cool. Yeah, this summer was incredible. This has been one of the most fulfilling, um, gigs that I've ever done. I was so scared because Shakespeare is tough. Um, the only time I've ever done Shakespeare was in school. And I remember I started probably this makes me, like, not a good student or not a good actor because I started that class, and I remember my teacher asking, like, who likes Shakespeare or who doesn't like Shakespeare at the beginning of the year. And I very proudly raised my hand saying that I did not enjoy it. And then I kinda grew to love it. My teacher just made it so fun and approachable and easy, and you just have to lower it. Like, Shakespeare is not that it sounds very grand and, like, I don't know, but you're just talking, you know? If you ground it and, like, make it fun, I ended up having so much fun in those classes. So, it was definitely a challenge, this role. Maybe one of the most challenging things I've done, but it was amazing that I got to sing through it. I got to do a little dance moves. I got to speak Spanish and tour New York City. Like, it was
Right. That was incredible.
insane the amount of people that came to see our shows, that were lining up super early, were coming more than once to see it again because they really enjoyed it. That really is, like, honestly the best experience, and everything that the public stands for, um, is amazing. Just going to people. Like, art is not you're not meant to be charging thousands of dollars for a production. Like, art is for everyone. And so that's so beautiful that they can do this and that we were able to do this. We got to go to correctional facilities as well. And that was
Wow.
an insane experience. Um, it was so moving and beautiful, and probably one of my favorite performances happened in those places with those people because
Wow.
the show just became something else for these people, you know? Just getting to spend an hour and a half, 2 hours with them, making them feel somewhat normal.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, is something that I will never forget, truly.
Yeah, that sounds beautiful. I mean, I think that's part of the wonderful thing about the public theater and their mobile unit that
Mhm.
not everyone can travel to certain boroughs and not everyone has access to buy a Broadway ticket,
Exactly.
and art should be accessible. And not only
Exactly.
that, you had mentioned how like Shakespeare can be difficult sometimes. And I feel like this
Mhm.
production really just made things so much fun and it made it easy to
Yeah.
understand what the jokes were, what's really being talked about.
Mhm.
And I mean, I would assume like at the time the Shakespeare's works were easily accessible like that. Like people would know the jokes and get the lingo. And so to have it
Yeah.
displayed on stage in the way that it was really just made it so modern while having that classical twist.
Yeah. No, what Rebecca Martinez and Julian Mesri have been doing for the past 3 years with the public's mobile unit, making it bilingual is genius. And we after every show, we had precious moments where we are in the van traveling back to the public theater together after the show, and we'd, read some of the feedback from audience members, and that's one of the things that people said a lot is like, "I don't speak Spanish, but I understood everything," or, "I don't speak English, but I understood everything." And and that's that's so cool. Like, Shakespeare should be that. Shakespeare should be fun, should be accessible. It honestly makes more sense if it's in Spanish and English, to be honest, at least for me. Um, but it was so much fun, and I got to see the show every single day from just right there because there's really no backstage or anything, like, you see everything,
Right.
and I was so happy. That month brought me so much happiness. It felt like a summer camp. My castmates, who are incredibly talented, but also just really good people, yeah, they really put together a team that just got along so well and did their job so well. It was really inspiring to see. I learned so much. I learned so much. I learned so much about myself. I'd never done a show that involved singing and that you have to do every single day of the week almost. So that was
Yeah.
challenging. Um, you realize a lot about what it takes. Um, but every experience and every job, I learn new things that make me into a better artist. And yeah, that's one that I miss my time at the public a lot.
Yeah, it sounds like such a beautiful and magical experience, and especially to be able to learn from those around you, and I'm sure they also learn from you, you affect each other, and so that's an incredible thing, and I think what you said about, like, learning what it takes physically, to do that every day, um, I don't know, I see it as a practice or rehearsal for you being on a Broadway stage. So which kinda brings me to my next question, what would be a dream role of yours?
Ooh, um, a dream role of mine is Venla in Spring Awakening. I really wanna do Venla in Spring Awakening. Like, I wanna do a movie, a movie musical of Spring Awakening. I wanna be Venla. Or on Broadway. I'm not
Speak it
picky,
into
but I really
existence.
wanna
Let's make it
yeah,
happen.
I really wanna do that. I also feel like, um, what are other dream roles of mine? Nina is also a dream role of mine. I feel like I relate to Nina a lot, and I just love In the Heights. I just love In the Heights. Um, there's yeah, I just that would be such a cool show to do and be involved in. Um, what else? Those are, like, my 2 main that, like, I think about them every day.
Those are big ones, yeah. I mean, someone
Yeah.
tell Lynn to reopen In the Heights in Manhattan because I could see it
I
happening.
know, I feel like they are gonna do it.
So, it's been
I
a
feel like
while
they are
since I've
gonna
seen it
do
on
it, but
stage.
that's gonna be insane. Everyone and their mother is gonna be auditioning for that.
Yeah, but I think
So
you
I
have a
gotta be
really good
ready.
chance. So, you're
I
gonna be
have to be
ready. You're getting
ready.
the practice now. You're preparing yourself.
Yeah, I
That's how
know.
I feel about it.
I
You're
just
getting
look too
all the
young.
experience.
I
Eh,
look young.
I don't
That's
know.
the
I
thing.
think I think I think you're on stage. I think wardrobe, makeup, all that stuff helps. I think you'll be great. But
Yeah.
speaking of big stages, so we talked a lot about Jaime Lozano and La Familia, and there's a big concert coming up August 25th at
Mhm.
Sony Music Hall to celebrate the release of Songs from an Immigrant Volume 3, which you also have a song on, Te Veré Otra Vez, right? So tell me a little bit about that concert and I guess how's rehearsal going? How big is this ensemble? And how are you feeling, especially that you have another track on this volume?
Yeah. I'm so excited. I'm so excited that I get to sing a song in his album. I feel like it's a big deal. And it's a song that I love. Like, I love this song. So, I'm so happy that I get to be the one that sings it and that's on that album and for people to hear. Um, Rehearsals are going great. We had a band rehearsal yesterday, and, um, I just love listening to the band. I mean, Jaime really puts together an incredible lineup of musicians as well as singers, but these are, like, top, top, top people. And Jaime's music is so beautiful and, like, intricate and so hard, really. So when you have all these instruments also this band for this concert is there's, like, 15 musicians or more. I can't remember, but yeah, it's a lot of
It's
people.
huge. Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it sounds incredible. I always get goosebumps yesterday, and I haven't heard all of the songs, so I'm really excited to hear all of the songs, but this, um this concert is, like, a big deal. Sony Hall is like, a well-known, big, venue in the heart of Broadway. So, yeah, we're just getting ready for it. We want more people to buy tickets and come. The lineup of artists is unlike any show that Jaime has had, I feel like.
It's insane. Yeah.
I mean, these people are gonna sing the house down,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I can't wait to just be a fly on the wall and get to hear them. But I'm so excited. I mean, Jaime is one of those people that Like, I don't know how you say this, but everything that he stands for, I can stand behind. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he is one of the leaders in this industry for, like, Latine voices and art and productions, and he does a really great job of representing accurately and just, like, representing our stories and us and the struggles in a really raw and true and beautiful way. So, when I get to sing his music or when I get to be part of these concerts, I mean, of course I'll do it, you know? I'm I love his work, and I'm so happy that he invites me to sing. This song in particular is part of new work that him and Tommy Newman are working on. It's called Roja. It is loosely based on the Little Red Riding Hood, and it's probably my favorite thing that Jaime and Tommy have written. And I'm so excited to explore that script and that story. And yeah, that's a really beautiful musical that I hope reaches bigger audiences in the future. I'm sure it will. Um, but yeah, that's super exciting. I'm very excited. Yesterday I was a little nervous. Um, but I feel like that song is so in my body and I love singing it. So I'm excited for people to hear it live. It's not going to be the first time that they hear it live from me, actually. But I'm hoping that this Monday something special um happens on that stage. I'm excited the album comes out Friday. So you can pre-save
Yeah.
now. The album will be out Friday, so you can listen to it and then kind of already know the songs from Monday when you're there and just sing with La
Awesome.
Familia, and it's gonna be great. Yeah, it's gonna be so cool that people can hear me sing on Spotify or just if they like the song, right? But hopefully people like the song. I
Yeah, of
love it.
course. I'm sure they will. And someone once told me that the fears or the worries about like performing, it just comes from a place of caring. You really care about what you do.
Yeah.
And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think you kill it every time. And I think
Mhm.
the show is going to be incredible. I
Thank
can't
you,
wait to
Matt.
hear the album as well. And so you mentioned, Roja, and I talked a little bit to Jaime about that. So is that something you
Mhm.
are at all in the process of as it's being developed and showcased to some people?
What did Jaime say? Can I
He, he said it
can
was
I
being
I'm sure
showcased
I'm sure I
somewhere,
can
right, to try to get people
I'm sure
interested.
he wasn't very oh.
Yeah, she shared a little
So
bit, but
he wasn't yeah. Can I say that I am involved in it? I don't know.
yeah, I think so.
I
I
think
think
so,
that's
right?
exciting though. I think I knew you were connected with it before, so
Yeah. Yeah, we
awesome.
when was this? We were in Forestburg last year. Last September. The year goes
Wow,
by so fast. It's
it
so
does.
scary. It's actually wow. But last year we were in Forestburg. Um they workshopping the musical and it ended with like a 2 days of presentations for the people that were also in the festival and also their patrons. And there's two things that are coming up in the next months like that I am going to be part of, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited. That really is like my favorite musical.
It sounds beautiful, just the way that he was describing.
Yeah. No, it is. It's very special.
Well, I'm very excited to see what comes next. Is there anything else you can talk about that you're working on or being a part of soon?
Oh, I'm really excited. I don't know if I can say this, but I'll I'll tell you and then I'll ask and then I'll tell you again.
Okay, no problem.
this this show called Desaparecidas which we had a sold out run in 2022, I think, or 2023 at Jack in Brooklyn. We are going to be having another workshop soon about that, which I'm really excited about.
Awesome.
That's also, I've just been really blessed with working in shows that I deeply care about, that are pressing matters in my home country and everywhere, really, and just really elevate women's voices and stories in a beautiful way. And I get to sing more of like regional music from Mexico, which is also really special. You
Yeah.
don't get to hear that a lot or get to do that a lot here.
No.
And I'm really excited to dive back in, and they've been working on the script for the past year. They've had other workshops. So I'm excited to see the new changes, the new songs, and hopefully there's also a future for this Aparecidas because um I think the world really needs to know about this story. And yeah.
Agreed. The world needs a lot more stories like this being told.
Yeah.
Well, Mayelah, thank you again so much for being here. It was a
Thank
complete
you,
honor to get to
Matt.
talk to you and learn about your journey and everything you're a part of right now. Everyone
Thank you.
watching or listening, you can catch Mayelah at Sony Music Hall, August 25th, 8 p.m. with Jaime Lozano and La Familia. And thank you for joining us and keep pursuing that magic.
Thank you.